It's funny making a video to show you how to do something that you already do, whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not. Simply you moving, you are shifting through different parallel realities. Now, think of it like that of a television set. Television set, we know that if there's a channel 1, there's channel 2, there's channel 3. You can tune right now using your remote to channel 1, to channel 2, or to channel 3. And even though when you tune, you then perceive of channel 1, channel 2, or channel 3, you know that they all exist right here, right now. At the same moment, it's just simply your perception has shifted as you use the remote to shift to that specific channel. Now, when we talk about moving through parallel realities, what quantum physics shows us is that everything exists here and now. And everything in our reality is vibrating at a certain frequency. Now, what happens, and even think about this by the way, your past, you can remember the past using your mind, using memory, but the past, when it was the past, it was this moment right now. You're only using your mind to project yourself into a memory. When you imagine the future, you're imagining using your mind. The future exists right here, right now. It's just that your perception is changing as you are shifting. Now, what we think of as movement is the shifting through different parallel realities. Now, think of this as a movie strip. You can have a movie strip and you can stretch it out. And you can see on a movie strip that this is a frame, this is a frame, this is a frame, this is a frame. These are all separate frames of reality. But if they move and vibrate fast enough through with light shining through it, it will look like one fluid movement like this. Now, because of this movement, what we can become aware of is what our vibration is, knowing that the parallel reality, because everything exists here and now, every possible reality you can imagine already exists. Therefore, you don't have to create it. It's about energetically tuning to it using your remote. Now, to explain this, you might be listening to this, you might be like, this sounds a little bit too esoteric, I don't quite understand it. Let me share with you some personal stories from my own life and from many people that I've met who have shared their stories with me about this that will help you understand how you can use it in your own life. Now, first off, back in 2012, I had something that happened to me that was mystical that still to this day, I don't have a clear explanation for. However, I believe it is connected to this idea of parallel realities. So back in 2012, I was driving home from work. And as I was driving home from work, I was in the left-hand lane in traffic in my car. And there was this of a median on the left where I couldn't go over the median because it was like a half wall made of concrete. And as I was getting in the left-hand turn, I was in the left lane because eventually I had to make a left. There was this big semi-truck that was in the right lane next to me. Huge semi-truck that was I don't even know how many, 18-wheeler or whatever, it was just huge. And what happened is this big semi-truck started to shift into my lane. But as it was shifting into my lane, I became aware that I'm about to get crushed. I started to feel anxiety. And I remember, I can't turn to the left because there's a median. What do I do? Now, as it was closing in on me, and as I was starting to feel the adrenaline come in because I felt like I'm gonna get crushed and probably die, all of a sudden, what happened is as it was getting closer, I felt this jolt of energy, and I was all of a sudden 100 or 200 feet behind this truck. I was sure that I was gonna get crushed, and then I felt this jolt of energy, which was a very mystical experience, and all of a sudden, I'm just safely behind this truck. And there was no explanation for it, except for years later when I learned meditation. I was meditating on that, and what I felt was, in a way, it was a connection to a higher self that explained to me that in that parallel reality, you died. It wasn't your time to go yet. So instead, it shifted me back to my timeline right before that to where I was actually further behind it so that I did not die. So in an interesting way, I believe we have a connection to our higher self that is a larger aspect of us that can guide us through our lives. That's also, we're all connected to God, source, energy, the universe, whatever we want to call it. But in an interesting way, it wasn't my time yet to go, so it shifted me back. So in an interesting way, that was a mystical experience I had that kind of opened me up to this understanding of parallel realities. Now, you could even fast forward that till a couple years later, 2017, when I decided to go make a video every single day on YouTube no matter what. I got that message, I believe, from a future version of me. I tapped into the parallel reality version of me that was already a full-time YouTuber, and I had to download the idea to make videos every single day on YouTube because that's what that version of me would do. So I literally knew that that version of me already existed. I didn't have to create it. And I simply energetically tuned to the full-time version of Aaron, even though I had a 9-to-5 job selling women's shoes. As I started to tune to that reality that already existed, that became my reality. Everything in my life shifted. Within 3 to 6 months, I quit my 9-to-5 job. And since then, I've been able to travel the world, teach, speak ideas, run live events. It's a completely different reality now because I've energetically tuned to it. Now, 4 or 5 years ago, in 2017, 2018, I made a video on manifesting through different parallel realities. I stopped making esoteric videos because there was a part of me that was afraid of what people would think, even though I love studying this stuff. I've been studying these books on Itzhak Bentov, which is all about consciousness and understanding reality being a hologram, which also fits into this understanding of parallel realities, by the way. But in general, years ago, I made a video on manifesting through parallel realities. I have a video called Walk into a Parallel Reality Meditation that explains this concept, and then people do a meditation. And I never really understood the power of it until I went and spoke at a buddy of mine's retreat. So a buddy of mine, Victor, he was having a retreat in Sedona, Arizona. I came and spoke at his retreat, and there I met a woman who had listened to that Walk into a Parallel Reality meditation, and she shared with me her story, which blew me away. She said that she had some type of health issue that made it to where she was told by doctors she would never walk again. She said, you're never gonna walk again. And that she should just kind of like, in a way, give up. And what happened is she was very sad about this. She was depressed about it. She was going through a lot of emotional challenges with that information. She eventually found the YouTube channel, and then she did this Walk into a Parallel Reality meditation. Now what happened is she did this meditation, and what she told me was that within weeks, she was walking again. So here I am at this live event. She told me the only reason I went to this live event in Sedona is because I heard you may speak there. It wasn't even a guarantee I was gonna speak at this event. But I speak at this event. She comes up to me afterwards and tells me her story and says that she knew I was gonna be here, and she just had to tell me this experience that she had just to thank me and give me a hug. And basically what happens in her story, though, is she did a meditation, ironically enough, called Walk into a Parallel Reality Meditation, which she was told she'd never walk again. And within a period of time, she was walking again. And at this retreat, she had crutches, but she was walking. She was not in a wheelchair, which is what she told she would be in the rest of her life. So from this meditation, from this experience of meeting this person, I started to understand the power of parallel realities. She literally believed and shifted to a reality where she was able to more easily walk, which maybe didn't have her believing the doctor that told her, you're never gonna walk again. I think it's a curse a lot of times when people say things like that. For example, my uncle had this brain cancer where what happened was he only had a certain period of time to live. He didn't want to know how much time he had left. Everything was going okay. He was taking chemotherapy and going through his stuff. But then eventually someone in his life got tired of him believing that he had more time than he did. So they said to him, yo, bro, you don't have as much time as you have. And then all of a sudden they said, you actually only have this many months left. And then within a month, he left, he died. And what I thought was interesting about that is it becomes a curse when people tell them that kind of stuff. Like people literally, the power of someone's mind shifts them to a parallel reality, because remember, everything exists here and now, that is equal to that. So, when we talk about manifesting to a parallel reality, realize everything exists here and now. What we think of as movement is through the different shiftings through different parallel realities. And they say we're shifting billions of times per second through different parallel realities. I thought that was like BS when I first heard it, but think about it. If every reality is a different frame, and movement is the shifting, time is the shifting and movement through these different parallel realities. And think of it, like if there's a fly over here or a cat over here that's walking, like this cat maybe over there, it walks a little bit different direction. Every little micro movement in reality is a separate frame of reality. Just like on a movie strip analogy, every little frame may look very, very similar. This is very similar to this, but it's still a very separate frame. Now, realizing they all exist here and now, your job is to energetically tune to the version of you that is the ideal version of you. And I also recommend really focusing on the feeling of this. So here's the formula. Now, let's also bring in this understanding of the hologram a little bit deeper. We have an energetic field around our body, and what science also shows us is that there's 15 million bits of information around us at any moment. We only perceive of 40 bits of information. So what if the 40 bits of information that we are paying attention to, the 40 bits of information we see are the information that's in our energy field, that's within what we believe to be true? What if every time you meet other people in your lives, there's many parallel versions of the people you meet, but you only perceive of the 40 bits of information that are active in your field? Now, this is interesting because this means when you go and you meet someone in your life, and I've had this happen to me before, by the way, where I'm in a very high vibe state, every person I meet with, I pull out the high vibe version of themselves because of the energetic state that I'm in. It's contagious. So literally, the 40 bits of information of the other people I experience are of the higher quality, a higher vibration, because I'm in a high vibration. Think of it, parallel version of you, parallel versions of everyone else, and the 40 bits out of the 15 million bits of information that you perceive of are the ones that are active within your frame of reality, active within your energy field. Now, this puts a whole new spin on what reality actually is. Because what quantum physics and what different traditions have been saying for thousands of years, that all the outer is a reflection of the inner. The parallel versions of you, the parallel versions of other people. Literally, there's other versions of the people that you experience, but you get the ones that are the 40 bits of information that are active in your field. So this means that instead of trying to change and try to manifest something on the outside inside, all that's required is to change the remote channel. So the version of me that's full-time on YouTube already existed. It was just on a different channel. I tuned to that channel with my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, my choices, and my beliefs, and that became my reality. So this is the power of everything I'm sharing, is that your remote is like your field, and your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your choices are what determine the frequency of what you actually tune to. So who are you being? Who do you believe you are? Now, I believe one of the most powerful processes for this is learning the power of meditation, because meditation allows you to connect to your field. It allows you to become familiar with, as Joe Dispenza always says, the word meditation means to become familiar with. It allows you to become familiar with the old thoughts, feelings, actions, choices, and beliefs so that you can observe them and let them go, and to become familiar with the new you, the parallel reality version of you that already exists, so that you can energetically tune to it. So this is the power of manifesting using parallel realities. It comes with the awareness that everything exists here and now, and that you energetically tune to these different parts by tuning your remote, which is your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your choices. Now, when you shift your vibration, everything in your life changes. If you want a meditation for raising your vibration to a new level and to calibrate your current level of consciousness, go to the link below, check out that quiz, get that meditation that's personalized for you so that you can elevate your vibe to a new level and understand that this is all about your energy. Now, if you want a meditation that will help you to shift to a parallel reality that says on it, warning, no going back, but it has over 1.2 million views on YouTube and thousands of comments from people that have saying they've shifted to a parallel reality, I believe that because you get into a certain energetic state, because you feel it, you feel as this new version of you, it allows you to shift in a very fast way, knowing that every moment you're a new you, every moment you're a new you, every moment you're a new you, then do this meditation right here. Comment what happened when you did the meditation, and I'll see you in that other parallel reality.